The Trey Hendrickson holdout situation just got a whole lot more expensive, and it's about to become a fascinating test of wills between one of the NFL's premier pass rushers and the Cincinnati Bengals front office. Here's the brutal financial reality that Hendrickson is now facing. Every single day he doesn't show up to training camp is going to cost him $50,000 out of his own pocket. That's not chump change, even for an NFL player. We're talking about losing the equivalent of a luxury car every day he decides to stay away from Paul Brown Stadium. But here's where it gets really painful. If Hendrickson decides to take this holdout into the regular season, the financial hammer really comes down. Each missed game would cost him $877,777, according to Spotrac. That's nearly $900,000 per game. At that rate, missing just 2 regular season games would cost him more than $1. $7 million, which starts to eat into any potential gains he might get from a new contract. This is a new reality of NFL holdouts thanks to changes made in the latest collective bargaining agreement. The league and the players' union specifically designed these rules to discourage exactly this type of situation. In the old days, teams could waive these fines once a player eventually showed up and signed a deal. Now, that money is gone forever, no matter how the situation resolves. It's a brilliant move by the owners. Honestly, they've essentially made holdouts so financially painful that players have to think twice about using them as leverage. The fines are mandatory. The Bengals can't choose to look the other way even if they wanted to maintain goodwill with their star player. This explains why we've seen more hold-ins lately, like what we witnessed with Ja'Marr Chase last offseason. Players show up to avoid the fines, but make it clear they're not happy with their contract situation by sitting out practice drills or limiting their participation. It's a way to apply pressure without bleeding money every single day. But Hendrickson has apparently decided that the financial pain is worth making his point, and honestly, you can understand his frustration. The guy led the entire NFL in sacks last season and is set to make just $16 million this year. In today's market, where pass rushers are getting contracts north of $25 to $30 million annually, that feels like a massive underpayment for elite production. Think about it from Hendrickson's perspective. He's 29 years old, which means this might be his last chance to cash in on a truly massive contract. Pass rushers don't typically age gracefully, and every year he waits is another year closer to the decline phase of his career. The urgency to get paid now has to be overwhelming. The Bengals, meanwhile, are in a tough spot. They know Hendrickson deserves more money, but they're also trying to manage a salary cap while paying Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and other key players. Every dollar they give to Hendrickson is a dollar they can't spend elsewhere on the roster. But here's the thing that makes the situation so interesting. Hendrickson might actually be willing to eat these fines if he believes a new contract will more than make up for the lost money. If he's looking for a deal that pays him $25 to $30 million per year over multiple seasons, losing $50,000 per day during a brief holdout might be worth it in the long run. The question becomes how long both sides are willing to let this drag on. Every day that passes makes it more expensive for Hendrickson and more disruptive for the Bengals' preparation. Training camp chemistry matters, especially for pass rushers who need to work in coordination with the rest of the defensive line. There's also the public relations aspect to consider. Bengals fans are going to start getting frustrated if their best pass rusher is missing valuable practice time while the team is trying to compete for a championship. The longer this drags on, the more it becomes a distraction that could affect team morale. The smart money says this gets resolved relatively quickly. Neither side benefits from prolonged standoff, and the financial penalties are designed to encourage exactly that kind of quick resolution. But Hendrickson's willingness to start paying $50,000 per day suggests he's serious about getting a deal done on his terms. This could be a watershed moment for how future holdouts are handled. If Hendrickson successfully gets a better contract despite paying significant fines, it might encourage other players to take similar stands. If the financial pressure forces him to cave and report without getting what he wants, it could discourage future holdouts across the league. The clock is ticking, and every day costs Hendrickson another $50,000. The question now is whether the Bengals will blink first, or if their star pass rusher will decide the financial pain isn't worth the leverage he's trying to create. What's your take? Is Hendrickson making a smart business decision by holding out despite the fines? Or is he throwing away money that he'll never get back? How long do you think this standoff lasts before one side caves?